Hi, this is Greg Melinda, Director of Technical Assistance, Special Education Compliance for Ingham Intermediate School District. And I'm here today to talk to us about timely IEPs. So in special education, we have a cycle for evaluation. We start with identification, suspicion of a student with a disability. We evaluate that student to determine whether or not they require special education. We program and provide services for that student based upon their needs. We review and update their individualized education program each year. And every 3 years, we take a look at a reevaluation to take a look at the student's needs and whether or not the student's services are still appropriate. And every 3 years, we take a look at the student's evaluation, review it to determine if a new evaluation is necessary, if we're considering changing eligibility or redetermining eligibility. The annual review, we have to do that because the IEPs must be reviewed annually, which means every 364 days, a student needs a new IEP if they're eligible for special education. Parents must be a part of the team that develops and reviews the IEP, or they must have the opportunity to provide input. When we construct that IEP, the goals should be specific, measurable, and tailored to the unique needs of the child. And parents can request an IEP review or revision at any time. When we take a look at why we must do this, there are two pieces of law that legislate how we do things in special education in Michigan. We have the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, which is our federal law. We also have the Michigan Administrative Rules for Special Education, or MARS. The federal law, the relevant piece is here on this screen, which talks about the development, review, and revision of IEPs. We must ensure that the student's IEP is reviewed periodically, not less than annually. And we're going to take a look at progress towards annual goals, their progress in the general education curriculum, results of any evaluations. We'll also take a look at information provided by parents to address any anticipated needs or other matters. So again, when we take a look at what does annual mean, it sounds like something that should be common sense. But when we get into laws, we need to clearly define what things are. Annual means annual, once a year. So in our case, it's every 364 days. You should plan ahead for snow days. So if you're holding it on the 364th day and you have a snow day and nobody can attend, that IEP is not going to be timely. You also need to plan ahead for absences. What if your district rep is sick or your special education provider is sick or the person who is able to interpret evaluation results? You can't hold the IEP without that person. What if the parent wants to hold on to it and review it for some time before they agree? We've had a global pandemic in the recent years, and that affected our ability to provide timely IEPs. If something happens now, we would still be required to hold annual IEPs, and we should give ourselves some room to address those needs when they arise, because there can always be unforeseen circumstances that could challenge us as a district from holding an IEP in an annual basis. When we take a look at those IEP meetings, who needs to be there for it to count as a timely IEP meeting? The parent needs to have the opportunity to provide input. The student as well, with parental permission. We need the general education teacher, the special education teacher, and the public agency representative. In our area, we typically call that the district rep. The public agency must also take a look at inviting an outside agency for anybody of transition age and attempt to obtain consent for inviting an outside agency that is likely to pay for or provide services ahead of inviting anybody to that IEP meeting. We'll take a look at annual goals within that annual IEP to see if the student made progress. We'll review those progress reports that must occur as frequently as general education students receive their card markings. Again, we've discussed a bit already about that reevaluation process and how that must take place every 3 years. If you have questions about how to meet your obligations under IDEA to have timely IEPs for students on an annual basis, you're welcome to contact me, Greg Melenda, Director of Technical Assistance here at Ingham ISD, at the email address on the screen, or you can call me on my desk phone at 517-244-1247. Thank you.